I'm gonna start recording. It's okay, because honestly, like most of what we've been doing, most of what we've been doing is preparatory. Whoops.
The body.
Better. But we can do better than that still. There we go. One last try.
Hey, they're working. My feet
That's
are
pretty good.
soaked, but my cups are bone dry.
Okay, gotta find my mouse again. This is also my first time dealing with this many screens. It's a nice problem to have, frankly. Okay. Now, yeah, we need to make this picture just so much bigger. Let's make it like 2500 by like 1800 or something. Yeah, not 2500. Let's do like 2000. Wait. No, we need it more than that. 2200 by 1800. And I wish it would affect all the layers, but I don't know where that option went because I've seen it before. See, but it only affects that one layer. Wonder if I can select both layers. Oh, I guess I'll just go do it. That was the whole thing, is that I wanted to do this in like a smarter way, but okay, I'll do it that way. Whoops, it should be filled with transparency. Okay. Wait, it shouldn't have been filled with transparency, no. Layer, boundary size. It should be filled with the background color. And it should be 2200. This is a lot of learning tonight. Because I'm trying to do it like formal. Before I was just diving in, doing whatever. And I've since learned you're not supposed to use edges when you're digital painting. Okay. Well, okay, so they at least have the same size. Let's use our eyedropper to get this color. And let's fill the background. Okay, let's try and paint the background and fill it with that. See, why is it, So my friend got a free VR headset and he's gonna give it to you. Oh my god, that's so cool. Very, very cool. Okay, we just lost everything that we did somehow. Oh, it's because that did get moved. So weird that, this isn't good. Okay, you know what? We're gonna try a new file. Oh, I love that color too, honestly. We're gonna try basically the same thing, but just from like a fresh slate. However, we need a new layer. That's for sure. Transparent layer. And now let's just start drawing it. Same thing as last time. And the post goes like pretty much all the way to the top of the screen. So we're gonna start with that. And it doesn't take up much of the screen. I think that was part of the problem last time. These are gonna be the things that like I learn. It does go off the screen on that side. And it goes like that. Okay, that's pretty good. Once again, we're just gonna fill it in. And we can add the details later, fix things. And actually that like layered look kind of actually works because it makes it look a little bit more like wood. Okay. I will use a different color for TPrince's body. I use his actual skin color. Okay, here we go. Ready? Let's try it. So it's not gonna be very much at all. It goes like up here. That's part of the thing, is that it needs to be much smaller. Oh wait, and you know what? Maybe it should be on another layer that's transparent. And then maybe we can just start like right here. It goes like all the way back.
This boy is strong and tough and healthy. Maybe I could take him with me and teach him martial arts. No, maybe not. Too much of a temper. If it wasn't for that, though.
Too much of a temper. Too much of a freaking temper. If it wasn't for that, though. If it wasn't for the temper, then you could just take this boy with you.
The body.
The body? I was thinking about maybe listening to a little Terrence McKenna while I worked. I think that could be a fun thing. And so honestly, when I think about gender blending, this is like how I actually picture most of our streams. Is doing like this sort of stuff. I see the chat's kind of going off right now, and I'll definitely respond in just a second. Just want to do this part of the arm here. Okay, so this is all gonna get colored in. This is one color. Where is the body? Move over, darling. Cause I'm going faster. Body beautiful. Must not let hatred into martial art. It's a martial art law. The Buddhism of the martial art. Okay. Ready? So yeah. This is gonna go like that's fine that's too far over. This is gonna go like this. It's so hard to see like the one shape that you're gonna have up here. Okay. This is pretty cool. Okay. Maybe you kind of see what I'm doing here. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. I'm gonna try. So this should all be one shape, one color. We're trying to do all in one shape. And so it's hard for me to imagine the shape here at this part because I think it just goes like that. If it's one shape, it just goes like that. And it goes in and then back out. Okay, and then this would all be one shape in the middle. We're gonna add details later, remember? So we just start out by filling in the color. I need to just be more adventurous about this. That's what I need to do, because I'm like worrying way too much about the small stuff. But that's like natural, I think. Okay. All of his head is gonna be up here. His head is supposed to be like way above his hands. And again, it's all just one color. We're filling in just one color. And I think it will end up pretty good in the end, but just gotta figure it out. Okay, fill that in. So that's basically our shape for a TPrince, more or less, and we're gonna like, the neck is like really messed up, of course. And then I'm gonna use a different color for Agi's soul in the background by grabbing our eye pressure, and I'll use that red face. And I'm gonna try and go super fast here, just to practice, because it is supposed to be just basically the rest of the screen as this person. So I can just kind of like do one of these, and we're gonna cut out details. So this is like, it's not minimalistic painting, it's just this is how you're supposed to like kind of start painting, you know? So you do very broad colors and then add details later, basically. And we'll like cut things out and add things as we go, sort of. And these are on the same layers, so like, they're kind of competing. I really shouldn't have done this on the same layer. I'm gonna undo it, actually, because it should be on a new layer. Let's do it. Let's try and do this right. That's pretty good. Okay. Might be able to bring this up as I work, too. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, we'll just fill this in. Pretty good. It's really satisfying. Really, really satisfying. This is probably not right. That's okay, we'll figure it out. Okay. Very beautiful. Okay, so that's like our general outline. Okay. So now, I believe that the way it works is you start cutting away details a little bit. But I think we need to refine our shapes a little bit more. And the way that we can do that is going onto this layer, into the eraser. Just see how this starts working for us. This is where we refine the shapes. I'm gonna start with the head here. We're gonna make everything like smaller. I kind of made it all big on purpose so that we can sort of like reduce the size of things as we go here. And like that should be bigger, but we can fix that easily by doing this. And this is where we can like sort of start having fun with the shapes and like really work on making sure it's the exact right sort of curves that we're looking for. Like that's pretty good. And so his head is actually gonna go like way down here, which is fine. Master Agi, we just gotta erase some of you. This is where I'm gonna start feeling really comfortable. Almeo, you just figured it out too. I was like, what the fuck are you drawing? It took me this long to put together that you're drawing the picture in the bottom corner. Smoke more, Anita. No, you're not the worst chatters ever. You're not the worst viewers ever. I love you all so much for being here. And you know, a lot of things are happening on the screen on purpose. I'm trying to make a captivating stream with a lot of stuff happening. And you know, I think I'm doing that. I think it's pretty captivating, and I think that things are happening. I actually am gonna erase some more of this. Oh, this is so satisfying though. This is like, it's honestly really intuitive. I was really worried about it being like really hard. And it is hard. There's a lot to learn. Am I on the wrong thing right now? Why is this not erasing well? Is that like not on this? Oh, I drew it there. That's why. Oh, love the emotes. Love the emotes. We're on the eraser. We're not on the right layer. Not even just chatting. You're not streaming in a category. I'm not? Not even just chatting? Really? Let's fix that. I should be in art. I did type category art. I did do this earlier. Done. Thank you for letting me know that. I did do that. Let's open it again just to make sure it's there still. Category art. Killer. Okay, we gotta open this up. Yeah, that is what we are drawing. And I think it's gonna go pretty well. I'm on the wrong layer. What is happening here? Nope, it's good. It's gonna be a pretty cool drawing, I think. Cause I'm trying to learn how to like kind of formally digital paint, you know? That's like part of the goal. And so this is like part of that journey. And so that looks all right. What we're gonna want to do is erase more of Master Aggie. Add in some more detail there on Andy. Looks so funny already. It's gonna look really good, I think, genuinely. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty darn good, I think. What we can do is we can definitely erase and make our brush size smaller by using this tool. Oh, it's so cool. Pen displays are awesome. Okay, and then so what we're gonna do, just cut into here and go back to the paintbrush and just really nicely kind of get one of these. Get one of these sort of curves. And then we're gonna make it really, really small. Really small brush size. That's probably okay. Now we can smooth out the arms a little bit. I think we want to erase. Strength and speed for pulling nails. That's pretty good, right? It's pretty cool, right? Isn't it pretty cool? Yeah, now there's no category at all? Became unclassifiable. I am pretty fucking unclassifiable. Oh, now we're in art. Just took a second to get there. We are pretty unclassifiable. That's what I say. That's true. This is coming out pretty good right now, right? Oh shit, that was a little bit much. Well, we can fix it though. That's pretty good. So now, gotta be a little smoother, like that. And then what we're gonna do is cut it off on the bottom just a little bit earlier, like right there. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Wow. That's kind of what we're looking for. That's pretty good. Okay, let's try and work on this side of Andy just a little bit more. There we go. That's kind of what we're looking for. I love how like far out the front of Andy's hair goes. That's pretty cute and funny. Okay. That's not bad. Could be a little smoother right here. I think we want to use the eraser for this one. I'm starting to see how this is a good practice tech. It's pretty fun. It's pretty good. Can you all see it? I bet you can. I think that the hair can actually come further out though. Right? Like actually the hair can come like that far. And the reason why that's important, because then we want to have that like one little cut in part. And then it's like pretty good. And what we're gonna do is erase some more. Erase like around like the ear. Make a little room. Because there needs to be more space here. But that's like okay down there. Well, no, let's erase it. We need like that much space. We're gonna need more space here too. I wouldn't even know where to begin with painting, let alone digital painting. You're making this look easy, and it's not even. Aw, thank you. Yeah, honestly, like one of the things that's probably harder than digital painting is streaming digital painting. Because I'm also trying to remember, like, balancing all of the different, like, sort of audio-visual things that we have going on. And balancing all the audio-visual things that we have going on, and making sure that, you can see everything I'm doing, and that it's, like, entertaining, too, just in general. Okay, yeah, this is gonna come down as a tuft. There we go. That's okay. Then this comes straight down. It's alright. And what we'll do is we'll erase to make that sharp. That's not terrible. Okay, so now with this like sort of, well, I guess we can add in Master Aki because we have like the general. I think we can actually probably add a little bit more hair over here on the back end. Right? But we are gonna we're gonna fill in Master Aki really quick. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Kind of funny. Okay. Okay, now we'll fill in Master Aki. Oh, but we're on the wrong layer. So all that was wrong. Yeah. Go to the right layer and we'll add on to Master Agi. There we go. It's pretty good. Okay, we're gonna just fill it all in because all this is Agi. And actually, like, instead of filling in that color, why not just fill in the right color, right? Why not just get the eyedropper, grab that blue, put it back on the brush, go to our whole picture. Why not just add in the blue where we have blue? Right? Why not? This is what painting is, and I just feel adventurous. So instead of following the exact tutorial, let's just do what our heart tells us to do, which is to fill in the colors as they are. I know it's a little advanced. I know I'm skipping ahead, but I think we'll figure it out. Well, we'll count beard as being dark color. In which case it kind of goes up the side here. I mean, you can sort of call like all of this like hair for now, at least. It's not terrible. We're just getting the general shapes. Doesn't have to be perfect. Especially not right now. Okay. We'll do a little mustache too, just because it's cute. It's a cute little mustache. Okay. So the reason I sort of stopped here is because I'm gonna go back to Andy. Add more to the hair. There's no shame in it. We just need to add a little more. And it goes like this, right? Why is it not drawing? Everything should be good for me to draw here. I know why. Okay. It's because that layer is on top. Okay, here we go. Ready? We're gonna add more to Andy here. Whoa, too much, too much. That goes out like so much more than I thought it would. Okay, we'll erase just a tiny bit of this right here. That's probably pretty good. That looks pretty good. Okay. So basically we can call this all the same color. Whoop, wrong layer. Okay. So we're calling all this that one color. And this is Fernando Soar. If you like the music, it's all me playing. I love music a lot. Kind of my main thing. Did go to school for music and philosophy. I'm just gonna make the brush bigger. If I can. Let's see how my brush size thing is working. You got a new emote, Grimby Coffee? It looks like a clown on a motorcycle. Is that the vibe that I'm supposed to get from it? I'll use it soon if I can. We'll call that good for now. The colors are gonna layer right now. It's okay. We're just filling it in. This is all just for fun. I'm already doing like things that are like technically too advanced for what I'm trying to do here. But I'm just having fun. Right? That's not bad. Alright. Well, we can actually make the hat even darker if we want. Yeah, we're on the right layer, so. Whoa, not good. I know that wasn't good, but we're gonna go back and erase. That's good. Feels like it should be darker than that, but I think it's because the hair is like a little bit too light. It's so funny. The teacher is really coming to form. Yeah, and I wasn't even gonna really work on the teacher part, to be honest. Um, Whoa, that's not what we want. I was trying to go to the ink select so that I can just do one of these. Oh, but it's red. Gotta be a thinner size then. There we go. That's not bad. I'll just draw some eyebrows really quick just for fun. Even though we won't keep them. Too much. Let's just leave that for now. I just think this is funny, and I'm just having fun. Because, like, the main part is Andy. I'm just drawing the teacher over for fun right now. And the pen is kind of fun. Let's use some white to fill in the eyes. The nose is gonna be kind of funny too. I mean, I don't even need to do like any of these details. I'm just literally having fun at this point. Oh, we'll leave that for now. We'll just add the nose here. Wait, what's he doing with his hands? I know, right? I know it doesn't look good. We'll add some details here so that it's a little more obvious what's happening. Because he's pulling nails, is what he's doing. Also, we could like add some background here if we wanted. Like, for example, go to the eyedropper and grab that background. And just kind of do like a paintbrush tool. And I'm gonna do like around like the midpoint. And this is actually also gonna help us because, is this the same layer as Agi? Yeah, that's fine then. This is gonna help us like with scale and stuff, so this is kind of a good thing to do.
Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder. So funny. Alright, I'll draw the sky too, because why not? I mean, honestly, like, the programs make it kind of easy. I'm not trying to be, like, arrogant or anything, but the programs literally, like, make it easy. Genuinely. It's not me, like, saying that it's easy to do as much as, like, the programs are just made well, you know? Know what I'm saying? Because, like, it lets you do things like this, which would not be possible with real paint, you know? Because you can't just, like, in real life, just choose the exact literal right pigment just by computer deciding to do it for you, you know? Like, I don't have to be, like, good at color theory or anything. It just literally does it for me. That's probably pretty good in terms of the sky. Oh wait, well we can do this though. I'm already in your home. You're not lurking, by the way, just testing the sick ass emote from Grimpy. I love it. I love it. You know what? Why not just like just do what I think is right? Because like honestly, this painting is already kind of coming along pretty cool. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and this is what I'm gonna do. Ready? I'm gonna grab 2 shades of brown. I want that. There we go. Now we're gonna go here and first we're gonna erase. Go to the right layer. We'll erase this really quick. And we'll actually leave that. Because what we're gonna do is make this the right color. Obviously we need to erase a little bit of this. What is he doing with his hands? Yeah, that's a natural question. This isn't gonna be like perfect or anything, but it's just like I'm just adding details, making the color like a little bit more accurate to what we're looking for. Just a little bit, you know? I'm gonna add some details up here. And we can actually make our pen size a little bit bigger. You're really not supposed to use lines. That's like the #1 rule. So I'm breaking the rules. Which is not good, because I'm not skilled enough to do that. But I'm having fun. Okay? I'm just gonna like add some details just so that we see what's like happening here. I don't know if this will look good. This like what I'm doing right here. I don't know if that'll look good or not. It kind of doesn't look good right now, right? But that's okay. We're just gonna like add and subtract later. I mean, it doesn't look at all like wood right now. But this is why people study TPrince, is because artists of all eras have studied these drawings to see if they too can learn the ways that these artists had. Okay, let's fill in Auntie's hair. Because I want to. I just want to. Oh, we're on the wrong layer. Okay, here we go. Wrong layer. Gotta do it on this layer. Here we go. So this is the correct hair color. Because the painting thing that I was saying is the edges are just always bad. And if you look at that wood, like, it's pretty true. The edges are pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But that's okay. We're just learning. And one of the things that I love about art personally is, I don't know why opacity is not at 100% for this. One of the things I love about art is that, like, really the more time that you spend on a project, just simply the better it becomes. Like, sometimes you can add too much detail and make things worse, but like mostly you're just like investing time and or energy into something. It just gets better, largely. Okay, here we go. Ready? It's at least not as bad as that James Bond movie where the tech expert raw dogs MI6's server with his cyber criminal's hard drive. Some of those old Bond films are dumb as F. I don't know why I didn't just say fuck, I swear all the time. Yeah, I have never liked James Bond movies. And, not about to start liking them. Not about to. Definitely not about that. Not interested. No thank you. I'm not talking, huh? Jeez, it can be pretty hard to do both of these things at the same time, stream and also talk about ThunderPrince or whatever we're doing here. Last night's talk was really awesome. Could talk about that. The fact that we had Technovore last night and it was really good. Really enjoyed it. And I think everybody else did too. It's one of my highest viewed videos so far, which I think is deserved. I think it makes sense that it's one of my highest viewed. And I feel really good about the direction that we're going in. And really glad that, you know, Nabil and I started this project together. And looking forward to the bright days ahead for Technovore. I think it's going to be a real blast. Real blast. I'm going back to the pen, even though I shouldn't. And we're gonna use a size 1 pen to just add edges, even though we shouldn't, according to the very strict tutorial that I was trying to follow. Or not tutorial, but just like practice guidelines. But I also like just don't understand how you would do this part without some sort of a line, to be honest. Especially because I'm like copying a cartoon. Maybe you just shouldn't copy cartoons, maybe that's why. That looks pretty okay. Okay, let's see, what do we have to do here? We need to do a little bit of erasing here. Whoa, what? That's not what we want. Wait, no? Hmm. Oh, here's what we do. We just... Oh, well, we're on pen, not paintbrush. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Obviously, that's not the exact right spaces that we're looking for here. So we're gonna have to erase all the way over here. We kind of knew that because the sideburn isn't right. Kind of need to bring it like down. Whoops, that was wrong. Gotta grab that color. Go here. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put too much there. And then we're gonna whittle away with the paintbrush here. Like that. That's not that bad. And then switch this again. Gotta come at this from a top angle here. That looks okay. That looks alright. I think if we go to our ink, we can kind of smooth this out. Like a little bit more. That's okay. We just want to tighten this up a little. That's not terrible. It's not great either, but that's okay. We'll live with it for now. Okay. I'm gonna like kind of draw an outline for us to like fill in here. Because it's supposed to kind of come all the way over there. So we'll kind of see that with the paintbrush and we'll go for it. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we can kind of make it sharper by erasing. Oh wait, no. Instead of erasing, paintbrushing with this seems to be a little bit better. We want a really small size brush though. Like that's okay. I want to do like one of these. Get a little more on the bottom here. It's like a little gross because I turned the brush down so much. Like 8 is probably good. Yeah, it could be a little better. I think we're really close. I think we're really close. I just need to like erase just a tiny bit of that. A little more on top here. That's not bad, but I erased a little extra that we didn't want to get rid of. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for that part. Now we need to fix the one on the left, but it's actually not terrible. It's really not that bad, so I think we might keep it for now. Take the pen. Make it black. And then we're gonna take that second face. Whoops. That's not wrong, but we just need more face to work with. Van Gogh vibes. Yo, you gotta head out for 20 minutes, but you'll be back. Automod loves you. They negative. Automod is pretty rough, right? We should make it more of an actual stroke, you know? That's pretty good. I need to get used to the fact that I can put my hand on the pen display. I like kind of have been levitating my hand over it the whole time. And you don't have to. You really don't have to. That's pretty good. That's really not bad, to be honest. Almost there with this one. We do need more pink. We gotta do the paintbrush and we gotta get a little more pink in here. That was probably obvious though, honestly. That doesn't look that bad though. Oh, whoops, that was pink. We should probably be using the paintbrush and just making it a small size. And then erasing if we need to. Like that's not bad. The face is what I'm like most excited to draw here, by far. Whoa, what did I just do? What did I do? Oh, I zoomed in, huh? That's okay. That's alright. We can live with this. Okay, we got our ear, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a line. I know we're not supposed to, but we'll erase it if we have to. And I think that this is the headline that we kind of have here. And that we need to add in, like, some more neck here, you know? It's not perfect, but it'll do. You're not supposed to add edges. We're sort of cheating. I just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun, you know? I'm just having fun. So it's gonna kind of go like this. Then it goes up, over, and does go like up. Kind of like that. We'll erase as we need to. And like this is the arm line, right? Like this is a hand. Okay. I'm gonna erase a lot of these lines later. Because it like not only is cheating, but it's like bad technique from what I learned. But But I think it's gonna help us for now to sort of see everything that we want. Okay. So. And it's gonna go like that. Whoa, we didn't need that one. Okay. Doesn't look terrible. Well, it doesn't look great, but neither does the movie ThunderPrince, right? So it's accurate to the film because it looks like a bad anime. And like you're supposed to draw good art too. That's like another rule. You're supposed to study art that like has merit. And so that's why we're doing ThunderPrince. It's because it has the greatest merit. Hold on. I'm going. This kind of is supposed to cut down like that, and then go straight down. And it cuts in, of course. So again, these lines, exactly what you're not supposed to do. This is what I'm not supposed to be doing right now. Okay. But you can kind of see what I was doing though, right? A little bit, at least. A little tiny bit. I see what I was going for. Okay. Now, you can go ahead, do a paintbrush, eyedropper, grab the sky, paintbrush, fill in. Whoops, I should have done that on the sky layer, but you live and you learn. We're just having fun. Okay, ink, eyedropper. Or well, actually, let's just do a black color. Okay, pen, ink. There we go. Night. Love you. Love whenever you come by, Rachikuka. I hope you have a good night. Yeah, I feel like an empty bag too, to be honest. I totally understand what you're saying. I feel so tired, just in life. I'm hoping to get good enough at art that I can like make some money off of it or something. Right now, I'm not good at art. You're specifically not supposed to add these edges, but it's kind of in the style of this art. So I'm just doing it. And I'm gonna add in this right here. Yeah, that was actually the right spot. And so what we're actually gonna do is Andy's forearm is supposed to be like way bigger than that. It's like that. And then the body itself is like right here. Body. Itself is like right here. And kind of goes like that. Let's go to the paintbrush tool. Let's grab the shirt color. Go here. And let's paint the shirt in. Whoops. Can I undo the eyedropper? No, I can't. Eyedropper, shirt, paintbrush back villains. So good. This is pretty sick though. It's pretty relaxing. I like really intended to be like a femme Bob Ross with this show, but I haven't been talking very much, you know? I've been kind of focusing on doing art because even though this is like kind of a silly drawing and all these are, still trying to learn how to do it, you know? Trying to learn how to like actually take it seriously. I think this shirt goes right down to the arm, so we're gonna commit to that. The problem is that the arm is supposed to come like up a lot higher. So we're actually gonna draw like white coming like basically there. And that's the thing, we're gonna redraw these lines as we need to. We can probably increase our brush size here. Yeah. That's pretty good. It's just so funny. And it's so relaxing, honestly, to just like draw and hang out. Probably one of my new favorite things in the whole universe. Probably. Okay, we're gonna go with the pen. We're gonna get some black to put in these edges that we're not supposed to put in. I mean, they look kind of good for what we're doing, at least. It kind of goes like that. We can always color over these lines that I'm making, by the way. Almost looks better than the original, right? Don't mean to brag. Kinda do. Kinda mean to brag. There's a lot more personality in the page rendition. Well, thank you. I think so too. And I think it's just gonna get better as we go here. Yeah, technically, just because of what we've already been doing, we want this line from down here. Wait, is that too much Western? No, I think that's actually right. Look at how big his fucking forearm is. Supposed to be like that. Supposed to be kind of like that. And then, that looks like almost right in terms of the, wrist. But I think it's supposed to be like kind of like that. It's actually supposed to be ground colored. If I want to get that. And I can. Let's do one of these. Not that bad. Alright, let's do the eyes. Let's get some eyes in here. Okay. That's too low. That's pretty good. I'm really excited to do the mouth too. I think that the mouth is going to be exceptional. We need the white a little higher. We need the color of Andy's eye there. I don't know, it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look perfect because these lines are a little bit too low here. So what we'll do is flip this, raise these, because that's what's causing the proportion to look weird. So we'll fix that soon. This is also something that can get fixed right here. May as well fix the whole nose, because it's probably wrong. Let's just do all this again, because it'll be good. It'll be good. Okay, pen. Black color. I know we're not supposed to use the pen. I know it's such a bad habit. Well, actually, you know what? We actually want the paintbrush slightly, and we want to grab the hair color, because I'm seeing now that we want this to go over more, for sure. It like literally goes into the fucking hair. Whoops. We're gonna just like sort of tighten all this stuff up here. This is kind of like a real like crash course in the basics for me here too, which is really nice. That actually looks pretty not bad. I think we need it thicker here. That's not bad. There we go. That was close. That's pretty good. No, it should be a little further down. Oh, it kind of keeps going up at the end. There we go. I think that's what we're looking for. Kind of want it to go down like slightly. That's pretty good. Paintbrush. Grab skin color. Paintbrush. Make this jawline a little more clear. Pen. Ink. Black color. Okay. Here we go. Ready? We need something under the eye. That's pretty good. That was a good start. That's not bad because his literal eye goes just like this. It's like... Okay, now's the mouth. This is my favorite part. See, here's what we do with the ink. Make it black again. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, so now we're gonna paint the teeth a little white here. I think they are just supposed to be like nearly a true white, so we'll just try that. This might be too white. Let's just try it. The right side of the mouth is literally pink colored, like flesh colored. So we need actually more of the flesh color because this is supposed to be like further up. It's supposed to be a very tight lip. And this is supposed to be like downward. This is like a frown. I see that someone just wrote in chat. Just give me 1 second. I just... Just want to finish this one section. That's not bad. That's not terrible. That's not bad. Okay, what do we say? Huge news. Canada's already pushing bills to ban handguns countrywide. It's funny how quickly legislation can be pushed through when people actually want to do it. So Trudeau wants to lose the election next time. Nice. I guess we'll see, but the actual point is that it's not that hard to introduce actual gun legislation. Yeah, it is not hard to introduce actual gun legislation. That is very, very, very true. So true, so true. Any Northern Lion fans in here? True, true, so true. Very true. Freeze me, stack me, sell me, buy me, freeze me. True, true, true. True, false, true. I'm somebody who says true and false a lot as a philosophy major. I'll say false a lot. Like, people will say stupid things, and I'll just say false. False. It's kind of pretentious, but I'll do it. I'll call people out. I don't like how we just covered up some of that beautiful ink. I think some of those lines were actually really nice. That's really good. Master Agi would be proud of this. Strength and speed for drawing illustrations. I just lost that though, because I got too carried away. I get carried away from you right now. I like that song. Sorry about that. Sorry about things that I said. That song used to be on the radio all the time, and then it wasn't anymore. I don't say false, I yell, objection! Objection! Overruled. That's a good one. Yelling objection is a good one, for sure. Like one of my coworkers who says that they're a vegetarian but they eat fish. Objection! Fish is meat. Fish is a living fucking animal. Objection! Fish is not a vegetable. Hey everyone, let's all agree that if our tax dollars in the US go to killing people and getting killed, we'll all be happy to give up a day off. Yeah. I would be happy to give a day off for that, I suppose. Whoops, okay. Michael Dragon, by the way, thank you so much for dropping by. Really appreciate you being here. Always nice when you stop by and hang out. Gotta love it. I mean, this is like kind of pretty good. Like, I don't know how long exactly. I love the master in the background, so funny. I could add details to the master in the background if you were asking for it. Let's just do that really quick. It'll probably add a lot to just have like one or two like strong details here. Like for example, right here, check this out. Let's grab his hair and then let's grab his skin. We'll need those two the most. Go to paintbrush. Whoops. Okay. Paint hair a different color. Yeah, that is a different color. It's pretty good. Oh, that actually is supposed to go there. Wow. Holy shit. These are some thick eyebrows, dude. I know it's probably not seemingly fair to people that I say dude. Like not not like a ton, but I say dude. But I really don't like it when people say dude for me. Really bothers me. And that's something I haven't really been talking about on this stream or even the last couple streams is transness. Um Something I always like to talk about if I am streaming, because it's like a big part of the stream. The fact that I'm openly trans and that I'm willing to like sort of share that part of myself on the show for strangers on the internet for whatever insane reason that I feel okay doing that. For whatever reason. The eye really needs a little bit of work here. Because it really just kind of goes up there. Kind of goes up there. And, doing things selected, right? It's so funny to spend such a stupidly large amount of time on something that is like kind of stupid like this. It's kind of funny. Okay, so this paintbrush is supposed to bring this mustache like down, and then this bottom part actually goes out like almost all the way to the bottom. Kind of flat like that. Can erase if we need to. Because it goes up and over a little more. I could probably be doing this in a much more entertaining fashion, but like I'm also just like trying to learn. Oh yeah, and if we look at this, hold on. We gotta do this. We gotta grab the paintbrush. We gotta realize that we need more space both on this side of the eye and on this sideburn. We need more room. Okay, pen, ink, black color. Okay. Now we want this jawline. There we go. I'm gonna see that. There we go. Now we're kind of painting with a little fire here. That looks a little better. I think we can even like end this drawing on that. Almost. Well, I don't want to end it because I want to do one more thing. Just want to get the color of Andy's belt. And we might save this one just because it was like a fun little practice one. And I want to do like a ton of these. Whoops, let's close out of this. And oh my gosh, it's already 10:31 p.m. That's so unreal. That's unfair. Why does time go by so quickly? Can you tell me, please? Whoops. Oh, we switched off the eyedropper color. That sucks so much because like I have to go to work in the morning and I just want to draw. Why do we have to work? Fuck capitalism. It's gonna kill us all. And we just break our backs. I really don't want to go to work. I just want to, Ed warned, thank you so much for reading. We're doing this like digital drawing and I was thinking about going to bed, but now I can't because everybody's here. Hi, everyone. Oh, thank you. And that sound is from this film. I bumped my head, you too? Ed warned is following. Thank you for following everyone. Let me give a shout out to Ed Warned here. Oh, it's Stream Beans, folks. Hello. Hi, thank you, fellow vegans, for being here. Ed Warned.
I bumped my head, you
Let's see
too?
how that works. I bumped my head, you too? Let me do promo here. For those of you who are new, I do have a Discord. And you can check that out to stay in contact with everybody. Check out our community conversations that we do. And just stay in contact with me if you want, like outside of the stream. And of course, I post every single time I go live there as well. And that's pretty cool. And right now, we're just having fun doing a little bit of digital painting. Because we need strength and speed for pulling nails. I can probably make this dude's eyes like slightly better here. Grab a white color, go the paintbrush, make the size a little bit smaller. I was gonna go on break here in just a moment, or even just literally stop, but I don't want to just yet. Best wine in ages. It might be best wine is ages because of a typo. I could be wrong though. Could be wrong on that one. Okay, we're gonna fill in the eyes with a little white here. And so for those of you who are new, all the piano on the stream, also me. I love music. I went to school for music and philosophy. And you know, it's my love. It's one of my greatest passions. And the last couple of days I actually have been like doing a lot of music on stream. But I took my computer out of the living room, so now I can't really do that anymore. And we're back to doing a little digital art just in my room. And that's like not bad. I was thinking about doing a chocobo next. Aw, thank you so much for the follow. Ed Warren, thank you for the follow. Winter X Sage, thank you so much for that follow. Wanted to share the love and bring you lovely peeps. Thank you. Oh yeah, thank you. Art is c'est magnifique. Oh, do what you must. I'm gonna duck out. You have a headache coming up. Yeah, I don't blame you. I hope you have a good night. Cryptid Mage, you've been lurking and you want to pop up and say hello. Well, hello to you. Thank you for lurking. And this is the painting we're doing right now, which is just kind of fun and goofy. Hiya. I'm back early. I'm already here. What's up? How you doing? My roommate's did my hair today, and it came out just really nice, but it's kind of hard to tell on screen. I think I might turn the brightness down on my key light here, which is a cool thing to own, by the way. Okay. Not that I even believe in fucking like ownership of things, honestly. We should talk about philosophy. During this next portion of the show, I was thinking that instead of listening to music, which by the way, this is all my music, and if you're interested in it, you can check it out at our Discord, which is right here. Thank you all for joining us. This is Gender Blending. I'm Paige. We do a whole bunch of different things, and we're gonna just go into a trippy section of the show. I want to listen to some trippy stuff. So let's listen to some Terrence McKenna. Let's listen to a Terrence McKenna video, and I don't know what Terrence McKenna. I kind of want to listen to Terrence McKenna talk about the transcendental object at the end of time. So that's what I'm gonna type in. Transcendental object. And I think I might have even done this on the stream once before. Not that one. If not this, then one that's on, okay, this'll be a good one. This'll be a good one. This is called Time Travel, Psychedelics, and Physics. And that's what we're gonna listen while I draw. And what am I gonna draw? Are you curious? I hope that you're curious about what I'm gonna draw. Take a look. Ready? Are there any fans of Cowboy Bebop? I lied, I'm not drawing a chocobo, I'm drawing Ed. And I'm really fucking stoked for it too. So please don't try and harsh my mellow. What? It's more of a groove than a mellow. Okay. But we're gonna listen to Terrence McKenna while I draw Ed. And I think it should be pretty cool. Oh wait, yeah, you can see that. Okay, we're gonna go back to webcam for a second though. Because what we actually gotta do here... You wanna... Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good talk, for sure. And so what we're actually gonna do is turn off the beautiful... Well, this is Piazzolla. Can we just... I just want to direct our attention to this, actually, because this is a really beautiful part of the song. This is Astor Piazzolla, who's just one of my favorite composers of all time. This is the piece Adios No Niño. And it's just a beautiful tango. And it's this next measure here. Right here. This section. It just gets so good. I don't want to stop listening, so let's just give it a sec. I'm also gonna put my phone... Oh, it doesn't really need to charge right now. Yo, just Sophie, thank you for being here. Please enjoy the Astor Piazzolla for just a moment, and then we're gonna jump into Terrence McKenna and drawing. Sophie, I don't know if you've been around for me doing art before. Maybe you have, and you've just been lurking. But I'm gonna be doing art here. I'm just gonna turn on Terrence McKenna after we get this measure through, these couple of measures. Because this part of this song is just wild. I just want to listen to it. I'm already staying up like too late. I'm gonna be so tired for work. But this song will get me through. I just want to quit my job and make ThunderPrince NFTs. You've been lurking the past few days. Will someone like buy like ThunderPrince NFTs for like 5 Ethereum or whatever? Ethereum's bad for the environment. I kind of don't want Ethereum. Okay, we turned down the playlist. We didn't need to listen to all that. We're gonna turn up the desktop audio, and we gotta make sure that the Chrome is good in the sound mixer. I'm starting to learn about all these things. Ooh, yeah, I'm glad we checked, because we need to look in sounds and make sure that there is only one device that sound is going to. Yes. Now, let's click time travel, psychedelics, and physics.
An elf told me that.
Okay.
Now there's
Did you
a
hear
fine.
that start?
An elf told me that. Now there's a fine thing for a scientist to say. An elf told me that time travel is possible, but it is constrained.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna
in
restart
ways
the video.
which are not.
Just because, like, we just got the sound right where we want. Okay. So, sound mixer. It would actually probably help if we put the Terrence McKenna vid on my other screen. Here. Okay, cool. We're gonna turn up Google Chrome. It's probably gonna be like kind of loud. And I apologize. I'll turn it down real quick.
Normally part
No,
of
it's
our
not bad.
expectation
That's
of
good.
time travel. The way in
Okay, here we go. He was told by an elf. If you bought NFTs, you'd buy from me. Right. Yeah, no, my roommate, who's like the quantum physicist who was on our show recently, is like starting an NFT like thing. And we've talked about NFTs on Technovore as well. Did I actually turn down my key light? I did turn down my key light. I think I should turn like my webcam settings. I know that this is like, you're not supposed to do these things like when you're on stream, but like, I just feel like we can do a little better. Like, I think a little brightness would actually do us here. I might look a little overexposed. I'm gonna go to Logitech and lower the brightness of the key light again. I just want it to look nice, you know? Can you blame me? Oh yeah, definitely. Too much. Where are we at? That's pretty good. And we got the video going, and we're gonna draw Ed. This is gonna be so good. You don't know how much you'll be around today. Your body's already wanting to go to sleep. Hey, that's alright. Listen to this time travel and drift off to sleep while you hear about psychedelics and time travel, and I'll draw Ed.
An elf told me that. Now there's a fine thing for a scientist to say. An elf told me that time travel is possible, but it is constrained in ways which are not normally part of our expectation of time travel. The way in which it's constrained is once time travel is discovered, you can travel as far into the future as you wish, but you can't travel into the past any further than the moment of the invention of the first time machine. The reason for this is that before the invention of the first time machine, there were no time machines, and how can you take a time machine into a domain?
So, I talked about this on stream last night, but, like, I think that we literally are making time machines. Like, which is, I don't know, obviously that could be wrong. We can't time travel right now, so I'm just wrong in that regard. Elves know a lot about time travel, it's true. They're pretty infamous for knowing about it. But, that sounds like a bad recipe. Well, you know, some recipes are bad, and sometimes you just add a little salt and they work out. That's what they say, I think. No, but like I was talking about time travel, and I think that we are we're like pretty close. And Terrence McKenna is here saying that like you can't time travel back before the first time machine is invented. And the thing is that once VR and the brain computer interfaces happen, as we've been sort of talking about, effectively time is gonna still happen, and like our bodies will be aging and we'll still be living in time, but we'll be experiencing things much more quickly, and we're already doing that. We're doing that more than any history of anyone in the world ever. And I have a lot to say about that, to be honest. Terrence McKenna notes we are trending to be more complex every single second, and there are more actions happening in the world every single second, every single day. In terms of like communication, there's more satellites, there's more bits of information being transferred all over the world, and there's more and more and more of it every day. And at some point, more things will happen in one moment than have ever happened in all of time that has preceded it. And that's kind of an interesting idea, that things are happening so rapidly, that more things are happening than has ever happened. I wonder if someone were to send something back in time, if that would create branching realities. Like they send something we weren't supposed to have yet. So in Buddhism, they teach that you literally can go back and change the past. That's what they teach, is that you literally can go back to the past and change it. But they also mean it metaphorically at the same time. And it's like this weird, like almost quantum physics type of situation where you have to like imagine like certain realities in order to actually bring them into existence. And the Buddha talks a lot about mind control being the best. Well, he doesn't talk about it a lot because the Buddha specifically says that you shouldn't strive for superpowers, but that they exist, and that mind control is the highest one. And the reason why mind control is the highest power, and it's not controlling other people's minds, it's controlling our own mental states, is because since reality is generated by our minds at the end of the day, and that's what I'm talking about with virtual reality. The Buddha was saying that realities are generated by our minds, and literally, like virtual reality is going to be realities generated by our minds. And mind control is the greatest superpower because the realities that we generate are just lawful to what we're like trying to create, right? And so time travel isn't going to be like exactly the same thing that people necessarily like think of traditionally, but like none of this stuff is ever like how people traditionally like expect it to be. And often things have like more simple explanations than expected, and also often things are not as magical as they seem. And the truth of the matter is that like we'll basically be living in realities that are practically real, but they aren't, and we'll be living in past and future simulations that are basically seemingly real but are not. And so it's not real-time travel in that sense, but I do think that real-time travel is possible in the sense that outside of VR, there are like these theoretical ships that basically slice through like quantum space. But I don't know enough about it. It has to do with like shock waves that when the shockwave actually like sort of pops, it's almost like breaking a wave for a diver to go into the water with less resistance. But I don't know enough about it. But I think VR is basically going to let us generate any reality that we want, whether it's fictional or whether it literally like because it could be like fantastical and not obey the laws of physics or anything, or it could be like literally just a simulation of New York City in 1989 on like September 5th. And I have a lot to say about that in the future, but if there is a future, because I mean the thing is that if you look up Bell's theorem of quantum non-locality, I think you can see my screen right now, so type in Bell's theorem quantum non-locality. This is Bell's theorem of quantum non-locality, and basically it's saying that well, let's see what this says. A measurement on a system by an observer at one location has an immediate effect on a distant entangled system. Okay? Like, holy shit. Quantum physics is magic. Quantum physics is literally magic, because what it means is that in a quantum matrix, so like a quantum matrix is a space-time field that is existing with the added fourth dimension around it of like all possible times. And because quan is 4 dimensions, quantum non-locality. In every quantum system that's a 4-dimensional system, in every single one of them, there exists a point that is cotangent with every other point. There exists a point that is outside of time. And so the way that time travel works is that you revert into that point and then you pop out of the point wherever you desire. And that's been the laws of physics since the dawn of time. And like monks and nuns have known this and have basically been able to enter and leave reality when and where they've liked. But the thing is that it's kind of vanity until everyone can do it. And everyone's going to be able to do it after what Terence McKenna calls is the transcendental object at the end of time. Because we've talked a lot about like what is a tool. A tool is something that lets you accomplish something either impossible or very difficult with ease. And a computer is a tool. They don't have one function, they have a design function. And so what is the ultimate tool? The ultimate tool is something that makes you able to do anything that you couldn't do otherwise, and that also makes it easy for you. And hold on, I missed some chat. I'm back and in the right headspace for Terence McKenna. Oh, I love that you are. I wonder if someone were to send something back in time who, oh yeah, and I didn't even talk about the branching realities. I'll get back to that in just a second. I feel like there could be this macrocosmic event that creates time, like our universe stuck traveling in a singularity causes the animation of everything we know, even our own brain cells. Macrocosmic is an interesting word. Basically outside of the universe. I was talking about how like a lot of like fully immersive VR would probably like have our bodies suspended in a viscous fluid of some sort, like an oil or a saline solution, which is disturbing imagery, I know, but like we can just put that aside for a second. Something that's really interesting tangentially to note about the fact that a VR system like that would have us suspended in fluid is that Krishna, who is the form of the singularity that is what some people call God. I have no better word other than Krishna because I believe that that's Krishna's name. And in the Vaishnav cult, they say that Krishna is a man. They say he, him. I don't believe that. I think that God is simultaneously omnigender and simultaneously agender, and also non-binary agender fluid, and also man and woman, and is everything, because I think God is everything. And I think even humans can be all of those things at different times and all at once. I could talk about gender and stuff quite a bit about all this. But anyways, yeah. What the fuck was I saying? Macrocosmic event. Oh yeah, the thing that was interesting is comparing it to the fluid vats from like the Matrix. Like imagine being suspended in that vat. So in the Vaishnav cult and in the Vedas and Srimad Bhagavatam, and I don't have Srimad Bhagavatam in my room. Was that image from Alex Gray? His art is fucking amazing. It probably was from Alex Gray. Oh my god, Nabil, thank you so much for the cheer. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Was that image from Alex Gray? I'm not sure which image you're talking about. Was it the one with Ed from Cowboy Bebop? That's the only image I've had on my screen. Um, but yeah, I actually was going somewhere with this. In the Vaishnav cult, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Nabil, 95 cents. Thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate it. In Srimad Bhagavatam, that's one of the most holy series of texts in all of India. And they actually talk about how the cosmos is all within a milk ocean. It's called the Cosmic Milk Ocean, and Krishna sleeps on top of the Cosmic Milk Ocean. Krishna is floating on top of the Cosmic Milk Ocean. And when Krishna is asleep, the universe is being generated. So again, just imagine us generating realities in our sleep. Vaishnavs had this written in the Vedas, and some people claim that the Vedas are older than 5000 BC. The Kurukshetra war was detailed in the Mahabharata, and in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the holy book that I read, it details Krishna's message to all of us. And I'm not trying to preach about Krishna, but what I'm saying is that my view of metaphysics completely perfectly aligns with quantum physics. And Bell's theory of non-locality is that in every quantum system, and the thing about it is that a quantum system is the same system as the three-dimensional system, it's just you're seeing it all in the highest point. And so like the quantum non-local point would also apply to every dimension above it too. That same spot would be the same in a fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional, seventh dimensional system, because it's cotangent with all points in all realities. And that's what God is that point. Because all we are is points of consciousness, and all God is the central point of consciousness around which the universe is built. We happen to be like gods of our own, gods and goddesses and goddesses of our own realms, and we're generating worlds around us, but we're currently living in a consensus reality, and we're all confined to our quantum space-time locus of this present moment, and it's because we haven't completely adopted these technologies that are going to basically give us access to the shared consciousness that is Krishna. And so that's how we would time travel, is basically you go through God's consciousness and you pop out wherever you are. But yeah, it's because we're just all awareness, right? I don't know. Let's put on Terrence McKenna and actually draw. I need to go to bed. I need to go to fucking sleep, but I don't want to. I just want to keep talking about this and sell TPrince NFTs. Okay, let's listen to some Terrence McKenna.
Where there aren't any. You see, it's just to preserve logical consistency.
That's like saying you can't drive a car where there hasn't been a car driven before.
That's right. You can't take a car where there are no roads. When cars were first invented, the main objection to them was, what are you going to do with this thing? You know, there's nowhere to, you know, it can't go where a horse can go, so what good is it? So here's a fantasy scenario, which for a while I liked very much. It's that quantum physics and nanotechnology and all this malarkey is refined and focused toward the notion of building a time machine, so that then on the morning of December 22nd, 2012, at the World Time Institute in the Amazon, the first time journey is about to be taken. And the whole world is watching on holographic television as the Lady Temponaut is strapped into the machinery that will hurl her centuries into the future. and there's a countdown, and a button is pushed, and off she goes. Now, most people's interest would be to follow this woman wherever she's going, but let's forget her for a moment. The point has been made. She disappears. We assume she went off into the future. But what happens right there, right then? It seems to me in the very next millisecond, thousands of time machines would begin arriving from the future simply because they had driven to the end of the road. They had come back in time to witness the first journey into the future. It's as though you could take your Piper Cub and fly it to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina in 1906 to see the Wright Flyer take off. You see? Are you all with me so far? Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Let's go back to that.
Now, there's a problem with this, which some of you, I'm sure, are thinking, I hope anyway, which is what's called the grandfather paradox, which is the old conundrum that haunts all time travel schemes, which is, if time travel were possible, you could go back in time and kill your own grandfather. Well, then you wouldn't exist. Well, so then this sets up a logical impossibility. Either you exist or you don't exist. And some science fiction authors have assumed that somehow massive influxes of synchronicity would preserve your grandfather. You know, you would approach him with your Saturday night special, but it would blow up in your hand, or it would ricochet off the St. Christopher medal he always wore, or something like that, because he cannot be killed by you, because in that case you wouldn't exist, in which case he couldn't be killed by you. And this troubled me for a long time then. What exactly would happen in this situation if a time... Because according to Hans Moravec of the Robotics Institute of Carnegie Mellon University, I mean, time travel is no big deal. The first paragraph of this paper, the last few years have been good for time machines. Kip Thorne's renowned general relativity group at Caltech invented a new quantum gravitational approach to building a time gate, and an international collaboration gave a convincing rebuttal of the grandfather paradox arguments. Another respected group suggested time machines that exploit quantum mechanical time uncertainty. The technical requirements for these suggestions exceed our present capabilities, but each new approach seems less onerous than the last. There is hope yet that time travel will eventually become possible, even cheap. So I then saw another possibility, and this is the way we can fulfill the expectation of Christian hermeneutics, but not require the second coming of Christ or the intercession of God Almighty into history or all these other extreme unlikelihoods. And to understand it, we have to have recourse to a physical model in a very simple realm of chemistry and physics, which is the Bernoulli gas laws. Some of you, I'm sure, are familiar with these, and they're very intuitive and easy to understand. We have a cylinder, and it contains a vacuum, and at one end of the cylinder we have a valve, and the valve is connected to a line which is connected to a tank of some inert gas, say nitrogen. So we open the valve to let the nitrogen rush into the cylinder that previously was a vacuum. Now, what happens inside that cylinder, I think, is intuitively obvious to all of us. The pressure equalizes over all points equally. In other words, you can't have 50 pounds of pressure at one end of the cylinder and 5 pounds of pressure at the other. We understand that in a gas, pressure distributes itself evenly in order to achieve equilibrium. Okay, hold that notion in your mind.
Holding.
Now think of our world in the late 1990s as a sphere or a cylinder of that sort, and think of cultures as gases at various pressures. And let's assign low pressures to the bare-assed folks in the Amazon and eastern Indonesia, and let's assign high pressures to the folks in Manhattan and at Caltech and Cambridge and Los Angeles and London. Well, then we can predict correctly, in fact, what is happening sociologically on this planet. What is happening is that the high-tech cultures are totally overwhelming the traditional cultures. The values of Manhattan and Los Angeles are flooding everywhere, and in spite of the tiny lip service we give to shamanism and body painting, the truth of the matter is Amazon cultures are not really making a major contribution at this point to the evolution of high-tech, global, information-dense electronic culture.
Right, this should all get
okay, that's the second level of this Bernoulli metaphor. So now let's go back to the situation where we send the Lady Temponaut off into the future. I'm not familiar with how they overcame the grandfather paradox, so we'll pretend that the grandfather paradox is very strong.
I want to say something to the grandfather paradox.
Okay, I'm close to question time. Let me press forward relentlessly here. Because the coffee's running out, I can feel it. The equilibrium density is dropping.
Same.
Okay, so we send the Lady Temponaut off into the future. But now, with what we know about the equalization of high cultures versus low in a temporal medium, what happens, from our point of view, is that the rest of the history of the universe happens instantly. That even if it's billions of years of human culture and downloading into machines and claiming star system after star system and so forth and so on, somehow the state vector of all of those event systems collapses. I call this the God whistle principle. It's that we can actually call God into history. We can summon the end state of human evolution to appear a millisecond after we successfully achieve the implementation of this technology of time travel, in order to avoid all the paradoxes that would prevail if there was any extension to the post-time travel era beyond the moment of its inception. So this is a way of, in a sense, forcing the evolution of the universe, and it creates the phase transition of the eschaton, and is, to my mind, a practical. It creates the basin of attraction within the domain of our own lives. Now, is there any kind of precedent for something like this, even metaphorically in our own experience? Well, it turns out, yes, there is, in a kind of bizarre anecdote which should sober us considerably as we think about these things. When the first atomic weapon was built by the Manhattan Project in the desert of New Mexico, Fermi and Oppenheimer and all these people got together the night before the test at Trinity. And Fermi had a pad like this on which he had scrawled some equations, and he had reached the conclusion in the week before that they were not sure how high the temperature would go when they triggered this device, and Fermi had some back-of-the-envelope calculations which caused him to believe that the nitrogen in the atmosphere of the planet would begin to burn if they tested this thing, and that they would in effect ignite the atmosphere of the planet, and the fireball would spread around the entire planet and destroy everything. And they spent half the night going over these things, and they finally decided that the information necessary to make the decision was not available, and so they said, well, hell, throw the switch, at least it'll show those Japs and Germans that we mean business. So and then of course the test was carried out. The nitrogen did not burn, and instead we were ushered into the glorious era of weapons of mass destruction. So let me see, I've got some notes here. I think I covered everything. What's interesting about this is that for the first time in this article by Frank Tipler called "The Omega Point as Eschaton," he seems, and this is why Paul is here, and I couldn't really get into it because it's crazy to repeat what you can't understand, but by an analysis and interpretation of quantum mechanics, Tipler reaches the conclusion that there is an omega point, and that it does represent the funneling together of all the what are called world lines. And he, for purposes of mental comfort, sets it far in the future. But in principle, there is no reason to do that. 12 or 13 years ago, the Swedish cosmologist Hans Alfvén wrote a wonderful little book called
Okay, so here's something that's like really simple about time travel that people, I think, don't think about too much. And I don't know if this will blow your mind, but like I'm interested to hear what you like think about this. Is that like if time travel does happen, Terence McKenna is saying you can't time travel back further than when it happens, right? But if time travel ends up happening ever, then it pulls everyone in the past to the moment that it happens. And in my opinion, the moment that it happens is in a sense a moment of death for all of us, but it's also a moment of birth into a new epoch, because I think it's going to be an up-leveling of humanity, and we are going to literally pop into whatever conceived reality that we have with every single being that's ever existed that we've ever wanted to meet, and basically everyone we've ever loved ever. And I'm not even saying that this is like a special event that happens like in a couple years. I'm not like someone who's predicting a date for an event. What I'm saying is that this has been what death is since the dawn of time. When we die, what happens to our consciousness is that we are pulled to the transcendental object, because as soon as that happens, all beings from all times are pulled to that moment, and that moment is always existing alongside all of other times because it's connected cotangently to our own time, because all realities and all times are. So what I'm saying is that right now, that reality where time travel has existed, it already exists. And since it already exists, we exist cotangently to it. The only thing stopping us from being there is that our whole consensus reality has to understand and internalize the fact that we actually are capable of generating realities around us. And once that happens, I think that that's the point where it happens. And I even think that there's other realities that we don't exist in right now, and that those realities will also appear. I often wonder, like, this sort of thought experiment kind of about God, because as someone who does believe in a higher power, I am befuddled every single day at existence and how it works. Like, I feel like people think that religion makes existence easy because you have like an answer that God exists, but it doesn't, because it just introduces a bunch of contradictions and paradoxes. Everyone's like, well, if God exists, then why is there suffering? I don't know. I have the same question. And like, I almost feel like God doesn't understand, but then that defeats what God is. And like, what the fuck? I don't have answers for this. It confuses the hell out of me. But just from my personal experience, atheism doesn't seem correct, because like, I think I've died a lot. Like, I feel like I've died a lot and I'm still here. And like, I know that seems crazy, but that's just my personal experience. And maybe I haven't died. Maybe I just will, and it'll be just blackness. But then like, there's nothing to experience it, and consciousness is just going to rise again, and it's just going to associate with itself at that point, whether it's me or not. I don't know. Am I even me right now? I mean, I think all of you are me. I'm you, and we're all Krishna. Okay, let's keep listening.
Worlds and anti-worlds, in which he made the suggestion that that the entire universe is what's called a vacuum fluctuation, ex nihilo, literally out of nothingness. However, there's a caveat, which is this creation ex nihilo can only occur if what's called parity is conserved. Now, what this means is that these particles which come into being out of nothingness must come into existence paired with their antiparticle. And so it comes into being, let's say, an electron and an anti-electron, and they divide on separate trajectories, and then they reconnect and collide with each other, and parity is conserved. In other words, nothing really happened. No laws of physics were violated because they annihilated each other. Now, for a long time, a while, this was thought to be entirely a kind of a theoretical construct. But then it was noticed that the theoretical models of black holes, which we referred to a few days ago, seem to imply that no radiation could leave a black hole, and yet certain kinds of black holes were observed to be giving off hard radiation in the form of X-rays. And it was realized that what was happening was vacuum fluctuations were taking place in the vicinity of the black hole, and because one particle went one way and one the other, the black hole interfered with the conservation of parity, and one of the particles was being sucked into the black hole, and the other particle was flying off into the ordinary universe and being seen by astronomers as hard radiation. So the fact that this process goes on has now been confirmed. Well, now an interesting thing about these vacuum fluctuations is that quantum physics places no upper limit on the size of a vacuum fluctuation. What it says is that the smaller the vacuum fluctuation, the fewer particles that are involved, the more likely the vacuum fluctuation is. And obviously, from observing black holes, we can see that very small vacuum fluctuations occur quite frequently. Well, Alf then took all this and said, well then, is it not possible that the entire universe Our entire universe is simply a very large vacuum fluctuation, a vacuum fluctuation involving something like 10 high 50 particles, and they have poured into the manifold in which we find ourselves, and an antimatter universe, invisible to us because it's in another dimension, was born at the same time. And so one universe went off into a higher dimensional manifold this way, and another one went off in the other direction. And what this sets us up for is the possibility allowed by this interpretation of quantum physics that the entire universe could disappear instantly. Not gradually. You wouldn't see the stars going out, but because this is all happening in a hyperspace of some sort, which treats this manifold as a point-like entity. So what you would have is just click, and all particles in the universe would disappear, and the original unflawed nothingness would be restored. Actually, no. There's a further caveat to all this, which is all particles have their antimatter, antiparticle twin, except the photon. The photon is this mysterious particle which is different from all other particles. It either has no antiparticle, or somehow it has its own antiparticle embedded within it. So what would happen in the case of a universe which was a vacuum fluctuation, which encountered its ghost image and conserved parity and canceled all particles except photons, is that you would suddenly have a universe made of nothing but light. Nothing but light. And we then have to model the physics of a universe where the only kinds of particles that exist are light. Well,
Sure.
It's interesting that all these human traditions of transcendentalism make a big deal about light. I mean, light is the metaphor for spirit. And the supposition is that the rarefaction of matter and of the flesh releases us into a realm of light. And I am not physicist enough by a long shot to say what the behavior of a universe made of light would be, but I do know enough to say that if you or I were made of light, our subjective experience of the universe would be ruled by relativistic physics, and we would have the impression that we could go anywhere instantly, and we would have the impression that the universe was aging around us at a tremendous rate, because you see, the time dilation of the general theory of relativity says that as you approach the speed of light, time slows down. Now, it's assumed that you can't reach the speed of light because as you approach the speed of light, your mass asymptotically increases, so that to push a single atom to the speed of light would require more energy than there is in the entire universe, because
I enjoy
this
listening to
particle
you
would have
speak
become so
and
massive
really
that there isn't
appreciate
enough
your
energy
perspective.
to propel it. But a photon never moves slower than...
Thank you for that, Cryptid Mage. You know, I truly, I'll just talk a little bit about my own experience really quick here, since I'm still streaming, is that, I was, pretty much just suicidal every day for most of my life. Literally most of my life. There was basically not a day where I didn't, literally just desire death. And I still feel really, really depressed a lot of the time, if I'm being completely real. But I feel much better now. A lot of that is because of transitioning, of course. Um, like that's a huge, huge thing for sure. Uh, but there's more to it than that too, of course. Uh, heart. Um, I was doing those things. Yeah. Yeah. It's been pretty wild, and so I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, there were a bunch of reasons why I was sort of sad all the time, and like transness was part of it, but part of it was just that like um I didn't really have like, oh shit, is this like right? Are these proportions right? Sorry, I just want to make sure. I think I need to do it like this. We'll make like some adjustments as we go here. I guess I just want people to know that they're not alone at the end of the day. That's kind of like what I'm aiming for. I want people to feel alone. Okay. So what I'm doing right now too is I'm doing all of this on a completely separate layer. So this isn't even part of our drawing. I'm just going to be able to use these as guidelines to sort of add paint when I get there, when I desire to. See, like, because I'm getting to the point where I'm like super comfortable just erasing and drawing again. Like I'm getting really good with this, and that's a good feeling. Because like honestly, I think one of my strengths as an artist is like figure drawing. So like this part of it is like not that tricky for me as compared to some others. But I still need lots of practice for sure. I think this just needs to be smaller in general. I'll like kind of figure all this out. And I think like all this is kind of off a little bit. I'm gonna go down. I think all this can be sort of done again. This can go down a little. It's like it's close. It's just like that. And then the thing is that the front lens is pretty small. It's like that big, right? It's like not big. There's two parts to it. So no one's gonna be able to see this layer. And the other part, yeah, we already kind of got it. It's actually not like that bad. Um, like this part's a little confused right there. But easy fix. That's not bad. Anyways, yeah, I was talking about my own struggle because I don't mean to be a downer. What I'm trying to say is that I just like get how hard it is. And I've also not had like what I needed to live in life. I mean, struggled with homelessness and addiction and mental health and all that stuff. And life is so hard when you don't have what you need and when you're very lonely all the time. And so I just wanted to like make a space where people at least don't feel lonely, in addition to feeling like all the other things that capitalism makes us feel that we're all like too familiar with for our own good, you know. I'm gonna color right over these goggles. Okay. Let's also just go ahead and make these lines like a little more clear. And just to be clear too about like what I'm actually doing here is that these lines aren't going to be in the final drawing. I'm just doing them as like guides for myself and learning about just like how to do this. And you see that's one space where our lines are just sort of off there. That's pretty good though, right there. All right, I'll start Terrence McKenna again in just a second. That wasn't as uplifting as I meant it to be. I really did mean it to be like a nice thing. It really wasn't. Okay, and then that's pretty good. Honestly, these lines are kind of sick. Like they look kind of just good. Okay, so that's supposed to go like all the way in. And then you kind of come out. Go down. Okay. Let's go ahead. Grab the blue. And you know, I like have to like figure out that like I can have my hand on the drawing tablet. That's such a huge boon to being able to do this well. The fact that you can have your hand on the drawing tablet is like fucking nuts. I don't even like quite understand how it like works, really. Oh, whoops. Are we on the right layer? No. We did all that on the wrong layer. We have to go back. We want to redo the black lines. Yeah, and then at that point, we want to stop and go to this layer, and that's what we're trying to do. There we go. This is going to be a lot better. I think I just saw stuff in chat. I'm curious about what you've meant when you said you've died many times, if you feel up to elaborating on that. Okay, yeah. That was a really weird thing that I said. And I mean it literally and like metaphorically. I feel like in the literal sense, there's two ways that I've meant it. In the first way, in the literal sense, where I feel like I've died, is traumas and drug situations where I feel like I should have died or I did die, but then like I just woke up the next day, right? So I've had traumas where like I feel like I died or should have died or both. Sometimes it's really hard to tell how I feel. Some of those were childhood traumas, some of them happened when I was older. Everybody's got trauma, but mine were intense enough that I like literally feel like I died. And some of them were like really violent. Other ones were just scary. There was one thing that like really fucked me up when I was a kid, and it's kind of wild, right? I feel like it's almost hard to even believe or like comprehend. But like I was on a roller coaster that was like very rickety, and I got thrown out of the cart. I was like kind of like very small and underweight because I was a Ritalin kid. And I got thrown out of the cart of this roller coaster like from 100 feet. Like, yeah, like literally probably close to 100 feet. I mean, I don't know how tall it was exactly. I got thrown out of the cart and I was like dangling off the side of this roller coaster cart from like a seatbelt that was just like holding me in. And it was like, oh, I'm gonna die. This is how I die. Um, and that's just like one of many experiences like that where I just, it's just hard for me to believe that I'm still here, frankly. I'm gonna clean up some of these like edges just so that we have more clear spots where we're trying to draw. This is actually looking like kind of cool, right? It's like not that bad. It's kind of interesting. Oh yeah, so that was one. Holy shit, that roller coaster story. I know. Fucking no. Trust me. It's crazy. And yeah, so there's traumas like that. I got hit by a drunk driver. My dad was a pretty specific type of person. There were a lot of traumas in my life. And so that's part of it. Literal situations. And then like drug and alcohol experiences, of course. I think we're actually using black on this layer. Drug and alcohol experiences where I like thought that I died or thought that I should die, whichever one. I've definitely like blacked out and like sleptwalked and stuff. Done all these things that I wish I hadn't. But you know, that's a part of learning. You mess up. And you know, I'm gonna oh no, I have the ear there. But what I want to do is go to the paintbrush and fill it in, actually. Whoa, that's not the color we want. That color. There we go. Whoops, wrong layer. I feel like I'm learning a ton about digital art, though. I feel like I'm really, really, really learning a lot. Okay, now we gotta cut out and get the neck correct. So that is the neck. And now we're gonna be cooking with some gas. Because these are correct proportions and everything. That's pretty good. Just a little. Yeah, and then so like outside of traumas, things that have made me feel like I've died are dreams. I have very, very intense dreams. I was kind of talking about that on the stream just the other day, is that my dreams are very vivid, very intense. And I've had many dreams where I've died or should have died, and like the dream just kept happening. Or I'll wake up and it's just like, oh, that was so real, you know? So those are the two literal ways that I've felt it. But then in the more like metaphorical way that I feel like I've died is that like had many experiences where I'm like, oh, I'll never be the same person after this. And that way I've died. And I don't know, maybe that seems melodramatic, but it's kind of a powerful experience for me, like some of these things. And now I'm just gonna, oh shoot, put those lines on the wrong layer. Here we go, ready? I'm gonna kind of freehand here just for a little, just so that we get like the outlines that we want here. And I hope you're all having a good night. I'm trying to be like kind of a trans lady, Mrs. Ross, Mrs. Bob Ross sort of situation happening. And I'd say it's kind of gone. I don't think that's melodramatic at all. I think that's very real, right? That's what I'm saying. I think so too. Thanks for agreeing. I agree. That's pretty darn good right there. I love this drawing. I love this drawing. I really think it's coming out so well. It's so fun. Ready? Here's that one. That's a good line. And then yeah, we bring this down. Just like that. And we got that. And hopefully we can fit the face in here. I don't know if we will or not. Oh yeah, see? There's not enough room. Let's see what we can do though. Because we might be able to like move the whole thing out or something. Let's see what we got. So we can do some eyebrows right here. And yep, this is correct for that. So the eye would have to be like right around there. Nice. I think this could work out. I think we just need to make some details small. That's all. These are just guidelines that I'm drawing too. And then so we already have that eyebrow. And this one actually goes in front of the eye. Interesting. Okay. So then Like that. That. We can kind of like clean up some of these edges after. We're not even supposed to draw edges. I think that one needs to come up just because we made the other eye a little smaller. That's probably okay, honestly. And move my edges up. It's okay. Okay, Ed doesn't have a nose. Okay, well, here's what we can do instead. We can fill this in and just do less shoulder, less arm. Wait. Supposed to go down to like around there. And let's see. Supposed to have this color. So let's fill this in just slightly. Oops. Here we go. Ready? This is what we're gonna do to just like check this out. And, like use this skin color. It's gotta go over like that. We went like a little too far in there with that one. But this looks pretty cool. I think it's gonna look good. I think it's gonna be cool. I need to eat and like not stay up all night. Jeez. What's wrong with me? I'm sabotaging my life, you know? Sorry you had to do you struggle at all at drawing straight lines or have shaky hands? I have very shaky hands, and most digital illustration programs have some sort of stability slider on the brushes that can be adjusted to help with that. Learning about that was a huge boon to me. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna look into that. I don't think I really struggle with that necessarily. I feel like I just draw differently every day. Sorry you had to step out for a second. Oh, no worries. Some type of, not some time. The person who broke into your car came for round 2. You caught him. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry you have to deal with that, Nabil, but I'm glad that you at least have that. You have tons of tips that you can give on digital art programs, but you'll hold back so that you can have your experience. You know, if you ever like want to join me on stream in the future and like give me tutorials, I'll follow along with you if you want to teach me. I would love to have a teacher. I think that would be so cool. It'd be like really helpful for me. But you don't have to. I'm just like also kind of looking for collaborations everywhere I can. Because like I think that's going to be one of the secrets not only to success but for fun too. Yeah, I don't think I have shaky hands. I think I just let my lines just be like messy and I just clean them up after, kind of. I like just don't aspire for clean lines, I guess. And I think that this is gonna look pretty good. Yeah. That's so cool. Let me turn on Terrence McKenna. You'd be down to mentor at some time. Oh wait. What the fuck? They came back, right? They got frustrated by the bar lock or whatever. You had on your wheel and left. Oh yeah, you'd be done to mentor. I even know of an art program that would allow us to draw together simultaneously. Oh, that's awesome. Let's talk about it on Discord. Hit me up on Discord. I don't know if we're friends, but we'll figure it out. Good time for me to type the promo in for anyone who might be here. And I'm gonna open up Terrence McKenna and get that going. Really need to stop soon though.
Than the speed of light.
Maybe
It
5
never
more
goes
minutes.
faster than the speed of light either. So the photon, if you were made of photons and you went from here to Zenebel Ganubi, let's say, a star in our galaxy with a wonderful name, your impression of the travel time would be 0. You wouldn't, and so again, here is a way, without invoking God Almighty, where physics seems to lay into our hands metaphors for the anticipation of the eschaton. Paul, do you want to say something at this point?
It's fascinating to hear you, you're playing with physics. You know, everything has to be conserved. No, it's not just parity. In the vacuum fluctuation, I mean, matter, antimatter, charge, the whole parity is just one of the conservation, one of a dozen conservation laws that has to be conserved in those phenomena. And they're happening all the time from the point of view of physics. Inside our body, there's trillions of these virtual reactions occurring all the time, and they can be intercepted. I mean, you can have a gamma ray break into a particle and antiparticle, and you can intercept them before they come back together again. And that's how they're detected on photographic plates or cloud chambers. But everything you say is right. One thing, I don't think this notion of the Big Bang, I mean, I'm not sure whether I subscribe to the Big Bang model, but it's not so far-fetched, because if there was something in the universe, then we'd have a real problem explaining how it got here. So the simplest thing to assume is there's nothing here.
You mean that we are in a vacuum fluctuation?
Well, no, just that there's nothing here. I mean, that there was nothing before the Big Bang and there's nothing after.
This sounds
that's
like
right. The vacuum
Buddhism.
fluctuation includes everything, good and evil, male, female. The whole thing added together is a 0, just like it always was.
Well, then what are the complex appearances that impinge upon our senses, and what are we
Nabil, you're glad
then?
you got it on tape.
We
Yeah,
choose
Lucky
to pay
got his
attention
face clear
to
as
only
day.
half of the
Oh,
situation, but if we
what a
let
terrible
ourselves be
thing.
and experience the whole,
And people wouldn't need to seal if life wasn't so hard, you know?
Cancels.
it all cancels to 0.
Well, this refers back to something you and I were talking about at dinner. We all assume that there is one past and one future, but it's not clear why we assume that. I mean, think about it for a moment. We're all here gathered in this room sharing this moment, but we all have different pasts. Not one of us has the past of another. And so what we have in this room is a convergence of pasts, and when this meeting is over, we will go our separate ways into a variety of futures. So the assumption that there is one past and one future is just some kind of convenient mental bookkeeping. We are tremendously under the spell of this illusion. I mean, we worry about the future all the time. Well, notice that you could just move to an island somewhere and get a brown-skinned girl, and then you wouldn't have to worry about anybody else's future,
Terrence.
because you would have made your own future. We can step out of the assumption of a universal history in which we're trapped. And I think realizing this is the beginning of a kind of liberation. Our assumptions are the edges of our worlds, And this is one of our strongest assumptions, the assumptions that there is a past and a future, and our
Oh, that's probably
destinies
where the
are
mouth
all
is.
caught up in
Chances
there.
are.
But actually, you can, a
What's
word
it
that
about?
rarely passes my lips, you can deconstruct that assumption, and then you're given back
I know
a
this
whole
looks weird right
different
now, but it'll
way
look good
of
soon.
looking at the
Oh,
experience
that's-
of being, which is empowering. Because somehow, when we are embedded in the future, we feel we have no control whatsoever. We're like corks in a raging river. But in fact, that's a false model, I think. Anybody want to get in on this? And
Terrence?
yeah.
Sometimes when I'm listening to you, I have sort of the troubling thought that I think Terrence hasn't done enough psychedelics, or I think that you're too straight in some way. And it's when you get onto some of your scientific tracks, and as you put it, you're a rationalist, I start thinking, why get lost? And I start thinking, I start referring to experiences I have had of being altered, where a lot of this seems incidental to the experience, say, of one experience of eternity, or which I know you've had. And how do you reckon with yourself sometimes, and think, when you say doubt yourself and think this is just my ego concocting things to make me feel good, and et cetera, whatever would be the worst case scenario for you. It's hard for me to express this sort of well, but there's something about when you're the way that you often refer to a science.
Yeah, I know that
seems to be a scientific
I mean, he
model.
obviously didn't like mean
that,
it and was like being facetious, but it's still a fucked up thing to say.
Well, I would certainly agree that I haven't taken enough psychedelics. Reading these people, it seems like, I mean, I doubt these guys are real psychedelic heads, and they're much further out than I am. The real truth is, and I've said it many times, that the world is not only stranger than we suppose, it's stranger than we can suppose. And in a way, that's either permission to suppose anything you want, or to just stop supposing, you know? These things are models. The real... Nowhere is it writ large that bipedal apes should be able to understand how the universe works. Still less likely is it written anywhere that Terence McKenna should be able to understand how the universe works. Were you here the other night when we talked about the black hole theory of enlightenment? It was 2 nights ago.
I was here.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea that the real truth can't be told. I'm very aware that all of this is just stuff to support me, to make a living, in other words. You know, that in fact what's really going on defies rational apprehension. I hope. I mean, I would hate to think that we could understand what's going on. Nevertheless, there's something to be said for this modeling process. And I agree, I think I'm getting old. You can only push yourself so far. I mean, when I read one of these things today, and he was off on some tear, and I just realized, you know, it struck fear in my heart. And I said, my God. You know, and I actually did a mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the weirdest one of all? And it said, Hans Moravec is the weirdest one of all. I said, shit, you know, what am I, you know, I should bring him here and sit at his feet. I don't know, am I talking about what you're talking about? Oh, good.
I mean, I find a fantastic parallel between the psychedelic experience and physics. I mean, I haven't found anything in the psychedelic experience that would be any problem to relate to from the point of view of a physicist. And actually, I think that all this stuff in physics got out of the bag because of the psychedelic, breakthroughs in the 60s. I mean, Fritjof Capra and others had psychedelic experiences and then started to ferret it out from, in 1920s, people were puzzling about these things and having the spiritual crises and throwing away all of their assumptions about reality and having these types of breakthroughs, and then it got lost because we started to bag physics to use for the military. And it was only with an environment that opened up because of the psychedelics that it sort of come out.
But I don't think that the purpose of science is to understand reality. This may go to what you're saying. I think the purpose of science is to advance technology, which is a heresy. I don't think reality can be understood, and that it's absolute hubris for science to, cloak itself in the mantle of philosophy. All it's for is to make better toys, or if you're nuts, better weapons. And ultimately, there's not going to be any closure in the effort to understand. And I think that the thing that you take away from psychedelics finally is that all models are provisional, that there is no truth. We talked at one point in here about Wittgenstein's phrase, true enough. True enough. True enough to get you to the gas station, true enough to get your taxes paid. But there'll be no closure on this stuff. We have to live in the light of the mystery. But I think we also said in here, it's the death of conversation if we glorify the mystery too much, because then, I'll be just like everybody else here and I'll announce that we're now going to have a meditation, which I've never done to you, I want to point out. Somebody wanted to say
something. With that in mind, I wonder how you can project an end to eternity at a certain time.
Well, I didn't mean to imply a nothingness beyond. It isn't like that. I think it's an everythingness. That when I talk about what I envision it as boundary dissolution, if all boundaries dissolve, then, I am you and you are me and we are all together. It's a exfoliation of the human experience. I mean, the great boundaries are, the small boundaries are man, woman, self, world, and then the big boundaries are life, death, past, future. All of these will be dissolved into something like William Blake's divine imagination. And we will become, our grandest dreams. And so the whole challenge is to dream a dream worthy of that dimension. I mean, it's a very interesting exercise. I don't know if you've ever done it. God, it comes close to being a visualization, I'm sorry to notice. But have you ever played the game, what would I do if I could do anything? First of all, you have to wrap your mind around the concept, anything. What would I do if I could do anything? And I used to think about it in terms, for some reason, for me, it takes the form of an architectural fantasy. First of all, I just locate myself in the house featured in last month's Architectural Digest. Then from there, I would begin to work it out. Well, if you could do anything within a few minutes of entering into that exercise, you're unrecognizable to yourself. I mean, you don't even have to exist in a forward-flowing casuistry of 3 dimensions. You can be a number of species, and all possible sexes. You can be translocated at many points in time. You begin to realize that you are tremendously limited by your assumptions, and that this is sort of what I imagine death is. It's release into the divine imagination, and if you're blown up in an airliner or something, then immediately after dying, you're just a dead person. But then you begin to unfold and test the boundaries. And, as James Joyce says in Finnegan's Wake, up nient, prospector, you sprout all your worth and woof your wings. And that's just in the first 30 seconds that you woof your wings, and then you are able to to divide your consciousness, to assume any form, to be any place, to know anything. Anything recognizable as human, I think, would quickly drop away, or would just become a tiny and familiar touchstone that you would occasionally return to touch. And somehow the dying, which occurs to each one of us, that's the microcosm of the planetary and historical process that we're caught up in. It's the thing that we hate most of all. We fear it. We really get agitated when death is raised as an issue. James Joyce called it the Grim Reaper, a blessing in disguise. If you want to be phoenixed, come and be parked. Meaning, you have to die to fully exfoliate into this dimension. And sometimes I think, and I don't often say it to groups because I fear I'm misunderstood and I don't want people to go out of here depressed, but sometimes I think that what human history pushes for is the extermination of all life on the planet, for the simple reason that we'll never be free till then, that we are in some kind of hell world, and we are locked in a world of matter and energy and space and time, and that it is not, my God, this sounds like, Southern Baptists, but we are living death at this moment, and that we must die in order to be born again. In other words, that somehow what we are has become trapped in a lower dimensional matrix, and our greatest delusion is to cling to this most tenaciously. Jorge Luis Borges, in one of his stories, has this idea that the species, any species, is somehow not completed in eternity until the last member of that species dies. And it is interesting that if you think about biology, 95% of all species that have ever lived on this planet are extinct. This is what happens to species, is they go extinct. And yet, we're driven to pursue immortality. It pains us greatly to imagine the death of all life on this planet, and particularly the death of our individual selves or our species. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know what death is. One of the puzzling things about the DMT trance is, these creatures made of light in the mind that are so different from us but have such affection and love for us, they seem like relatives. They seem like, dare we whisper the word, they seem like ancestors. And yet, we would rather believe that they were aliens from Zeta Reticuli.
It sounds like the plot of Neon Genesis
Evangelion,
yeah.
Than apply Occam's razor to the phenomenon and say, since we are the only intelligent entities that we have ever contacted in this universe, these things which we contact in our minds in the center of the DMT flash, they must be human beings of some sort. But they don't look like human beings. But they love us so much and understand us so well. Well, is it possible that the kind of human being they are is a dead human being? That we're actually breaking through into an ecology of souls. I mean, if we say that the psychedelic experience is an experience of boundary dissolution, and if we say that DMT is the strongest of all psychedelics, then may it not be that it is dissolving the most resistant of all barriers, which is the barrier between the living and the dead, and that what you actually come into is the antechambers of eternity for a brief glimpse. If you were to take that rap and properly translate it into Witoto or Muinani or something like that and go to the Amazon and query those folks, they'd say, well, of course. I mean, your own Merciliade tells you that shamanism depends on the spirit ancestors. And for all the credit we give shamanism, we've never actually come to grips with the possibility that shamans really do work with the spirit ancestors, that there really is an ecology of transmaterial human beings in a nearby continuum that can be approached by a boundary dissolving drug. And it's because, we, and certainly I, and certainly proven by this rap tonight, are obsessed with technological
we did that on the wrong layer.
How it's going to be the flying saucers, it's going to be the time machine, or the collapse of the quantum vector, or something like that. But
it all comes tumbling down. We're always in transit, and nothing is permanent. We have to let go of that ego.
I mean, that's what's gnawing at the back of our
I've never made contact with anything through DMT, and I've done it many dozens of times.
Orthogonal, meaning at right angles to the historical process, is the dissolving of the barrier.
I've never experienced it before, but it seems like quite an experience. And I mean, I've never come in contact with anything that is identified as an extraterrestrial entity. I've never encountered that. And I'm kind of glad, because I think I've said this before, but I'd just be really, really scared. I'd just be really, really darn scared if that happened to me. I don't know how I would react, but it would just be fear, pretty much. Try to theory craft about like aliens and stuff, and I just get really scared really fast. But that's okay, because probably they aren't even real, chances are, unless they are, in which case that's all right. I don't really want to grab any of those. I just want to keep painting. Because we gotta get like this underarm. If that's even right. I think it looks pretty good, honestly. You're sorry, I should be talking. Never made contact with anything. I'm more scared of the deep sea. Who the fuck knows what Lovecraftian terrors are in there? I mean, yeah, the deep sea is scary too. Space is scary. It's all scary. Humans are pretty frail. We aren't like very strong creatures. Let's see if I can get this brush size to go up here. I have like this slider on the pen display that will like let me increase the size, but it isn't very sensitive. Oops. It's not nearly as sensitive as I would like it to be. That's okay. I'm sure that it can even be changed and that I just don't know how right now. Right? In the end. Okay, let's try and fly through this. Oh, there's supposed to be some more dark colors there. I need to change the drawing a little bit. I wish I didn't have to go to bed, you know? I just want to keep doing this. But I can't. I have to stop. I have to stop doing this and go raid into someone. But you know, this has been just so much fun. I mean, this drawing is coming along. I'm definitely gonna just start with this next time. And I like even want to just like do a little more just because I can. Just want to like put some white here. Just for effect. And like, because it just looks so cool. It just looks so cool already. And Ed's hair is really good already, too. Just like really basic, but just get some lines out there. I mean, yeah, we'll have to return to this.